Sergei Davidov, coach of Russian figure skater Lev Lazarev, spoke with Sport Express about his athlete's score. At the first stage of the Junior Grand Prix Series, Lazarev won his first international competition with 250.1 points, landing for quadruples, beating his closest competitor by 19 points. How do you like the judging? Are the scores fair? Well, I think they gave him a cup of deduction for underrating by 90 degrees. On the quadruple, that's too much, but overall, I'm happy, of course. Aren't you worried that for quadruples, you only have a 16-point technical advantage, while your competitors only land one? Figure skating is changing, and we talk about that a lot too, that we need to work on our second mark, on our spins. You can't escape or win with jumps alone anymore. Besides, everyone is gradually learning them too. Lev and I take this very seriously. But then again, if we're talking about the start of the season, this is how it should be. If everything were perfect now, it would be very bad. That's my opinion. Athletes should enter the season gradually, systematically, as is customary in sports, and get into optimal shape for the competitions they need. Lazarev scored 86.76 points for the short program and 163.45 points for the free skate, a total of 250.1 points. New Zealand's Jan Howley finished second with 230.89 points, while Japan's Daya Ebahara finished third, 219.76 points. Lazarev confirmed his potential at the senior level. Technically, the Russian skater can easily be compared to Ilya Malinin. There's potential for a major duel at the 2030 Olympics. No junior skater has yet achieved such a complex jumping base. However, let's not get ahead of ourselves. The Russian duo of Polina Shesheleva and Egor Karnaukov closed out the opening leg of the Junior Grand Prix of figure skating, and it truly marked the culmination of their performance. The pair achieved the most decisive victory of the tournament. The first leg of the Junior Grand Prix began with a rather unpleasant incident for Shesheleva and Karnaukov. During the 6-minute warm-up, American figure skater Bailan Tate collided with the Russian skater. I saw her, but we were skating in a pair. And whoever skates in a pair has unspoken priority. She should have given way, but that's how it turned out. But she apologized, and it didn't affect us at all. RIA Novosti quotes Shesheleva as saying, "It's good that the collision didn't have any serious consequences," and the Russian duo showed the best result in the short program, scoring 65.54 points. Shesheleva and her partner, Nikolai Apter, finished second to last. By and large, none of the duos that came to Xi'an were able to compete with the Russians, even though the judges disqualified their death spiral. The two Chinese pairs were more than 10 points behind, which in the short program could be equated to a disaster for their opponents. The level of opposition to the Russian skaters is eloquently illustrated by the scores of the French and American pairs in the free skate. They scored fewer points than Polina and Egor 2 days earlier. The Russian pair took to the ice knowing the scores of all their opponents. At least some semblance of competition was offered by the top Chinese pairs. Chen Yuxuan and Dong Yingbo the only ones to surpass the 100-point mark, 103.64 points, setting a personal best. For Russians, such a score has long ceased to inspire awe. From the very beginning of the program, it was clear that the gold medal would be theirs. The cascade performed by the guys is truly remarkable. Polina and Egor executed the triple flip and triple Salchow so closely. The final score, 126.30 points, left no doubt about this pair's dominance. The Russians' overall lead at the Xi'an competition was more than 34 points. This victory was the largest for any Russian athlete at this stage of the Grand Prix. The Russians will return home with the maximum number of gold medals. Russian figure skater Sofia Dzepka won her first international competition and immediately captivated thousands of foreign fans. Competitors take photos with her like a star even before the start. Commentators struggle to find the right words after the performance, and judges are willing to overlook her lack of an international ranking. What is her magnetism? On Friday, Dzepka landed a quadruple toe loop in her free skate and won the first stage of the Junior Grand Prix by a huge margin. The first thought when looking at Sophia is, what is this beautiful girl doing at the Junior Grand Prix? She seems much older than her competitors and even her 17 years. And it's not because of her provocative costumes or cosmetic procedures, but because of her very mature look. It's also in her posture and overall body proportions, like a ballerina's. At the same time, Dzepka performs content that is unmistakably complex. She executes a quadruple toe loop with the same frequency and purity as a regular triple. She has all the complex combinations, and she's capable of earning scores for non-jumping elements. That would allow her to remain competitive without jumping at all. There's a slight exaggeration in these words, but only to emphasize the skater's versatility. Such descriptions were last applied, for example, to Kamila Valieva or Elena Kostornaya. And yet, Dzepka has her own unique individuality. She seems to be the answer to all the past complaints about Russian figure skaters from the international community. So, in your country, only children with light, fast bodies and under 15 can jump quads. No, this athlete is older and has a completely different build. Are all quad skaters trained exclusively by Tutberidze's group? No, Dzepka has been skating with the young coach Ekaterina Moisaeva at SKA since 2022, and before that, she trained there with Irina Nifontova. Does focusing on quads preclude working on a second mark? No. Try to find a single weak point in Dzepka's programs, and if she excels at both quads and skating, then surely she's been through life, has a limited perspective, and can't string two words together. No, Sophia is mature and sophisticated, even outside of sport, excels in front of the cameras, loves to read, and is a big fan of Alexander Dumas's novels. Checkmate, critics. Despite being 17, a relatively mature age by figure skating standards, Dzepka's remarkable career is only just beginning with her victory at the Junior Grand Prix. Interestingly, even during the pandemic, she missed almost a year and could have never returned to the sport due to health issues and a lack of ice due to coronavirus restrictions. Since Sofia's former coach is quite elderly, the restrictions continued to apply to her even after the others began to lift them. Skaters had to find a new training location, and Dzepka bounced between various training centers and found no place to fit. As a result, she didn't skate at all for a long time. But, as the athlete's coach, Ekaterina Moisaeva, says, nostalgia for the ice won out. Dzepka tried to skate with Elena Germanovna Bayanova, but something didn't work out. Then she tried out for Krustelny and Snezhny Barsi, but that was also unsuccessful. So, she decided to end her career out of emotion. And a year later, nostalgia for figure skating apparently took over. I warned her right away that it would be very difficult. Within a year, all of Sonia's former rivals had moved ahead, and she had to build up her physical fitness and strengthen her muscles from scratch. Otherwise, injuries would have set in. Ultimately, within 6 months, Sonia had recovered well, and we began working with her normally. But it was truly very difficult, Moisaeva said in an interview with her. Perhaps it was during this year of forced break that Dzepka developed a conscious desire to train and compete, a desire that hasn't weakened even during the isolation of Russian athletes from international competitions. She's incredibly disciplined. Her coach doesn't have to yell at her or look for any additional motivational tools. On the contrary, when describing Sofia's true nature, Moisaeva chooses the right words. A perfectionist with a capital P. It was this quality that helped her return after a long break, close the gap with her competitors, and surpass them in many ways in the complexity of her jumps, her spins, her grace. Everything to arrive at the Grand Prix in Xi'an in excellent form with 2 well-rehearsed programs, to captivate the judges and fans, and to win the long-awaited gold for themselves and Russia. Yana Rudkovskaya, general director of the Angels of Fedchenko Academy, congratulated the Russian figure skaters on their victories at the first stage of the ISU Junior Grand Prix in Xi'an, China, and supported Elena Kosteleva, who withdrew from the competition due to injury. Congratulations! Our juniors defeated everyone in Xi'an, winning gold in all 4 disciplines. Sofia Dzepka and Lev Lazarev won the singles, Maria Fefilova and Artem Valov won the ice dance, and Polina Shesheleva and Egor Karnakov took home the pair's gold. The skaters competed without a flag or anthem, after a 4-year suspension, as neutrals. Everyone skated brilliantly, showing the highest level. The Chinese fans were thrilled, and our young people proved that even under these conditions, our athletes, our figure skaters, are the best and strongest in the world. P.S. Of course, it's a shame that Lena Kosteleva couldn't compete and aggravated injury hampered her at the last minute. Lena's victories are still ahead. Despite all the difficulties we've faced, I sincerely support her with all my heart, knowing how hard she worked to reach these Grand Prix stages. Rudkovskaya wrote on her Telegram channel. Russian figure skating coach Sofia Fedchenko has joined the Chinese women's singles team. How did this happen? And what will happen to Russian championship medalist Elena Gorbacheva's career? Is it true that you are now the head coach of the Chinese women's singles team? We did discuss this option, but at this stage, I'll be more of a consultant. I can't afford to move to China entirely right now. So for now we've agreed on this working arrangement. How did this idea come about? And why did you decide on it? I've been working for a long time with one of China's strongest single skaters, Wang Yihan. She was 5th at the World Junior Championships and 4th at the Junior Grand Prix final. We trained online almost every day. She came to see me in Moscow, and I came to Beijing. Through her, the Chinese figure skating leadership contacted me, and we began discussing closer collaboration. Are you now coaching exclusively in China, or will you be traveling there periodically? No, I'm not leaving Moscow. We'll coordinate my schedule so that I can combine working in Moscow and China. Will Alina Gorbacheva also be training part-time in China now? Yes. When I'm working in Beijing, Alina is here with me. Then we return to Moscow. A question that many will probably have. In connection with your new job, does Alina plan to change her athletic citizenship? No, there are no such plans. Alina is a Russian athlete. Her main goal now is to recover and return to international competition. This season, she really wants to compete in the Challenger Series and the Universiade. How is Alina doing overall? How is her recovery going? Her recovery is progressing. We're not rushing, gradually increasing her workload and monitoring her condition. The most important thing now is to calmly get through this stage and return to full training, without unnecessary risks. How are the training conditions in China? And life and everyday life in general? The conditions are very good. The ice is on all day, 18 to 20 degrees Celsius on the rink. There are gyms, medical offices, doctors, massage therapists, and rehabilitation specialists. We also live here, at the sports center. Everything is close by, everything is very convenient. How would you rate the overall level of the Chinese team? Judging by the Xi'an event alone, you've got excellent material. The girls are truly very talented and hardworking. I enjoy working with them. They want to learn and develop, so I'm really excited to see what we come up with. We worked a lot on Ultra C elements this summer, and in the last few weeks we've been focusing on programs and preparing for the Grand Prix events. Yesterday, you said that there's a figure skating boom in China right now, almost as big as in Russia. How is this manifested? I said, like in Russia, there are lots of rinks here, lots of kids who want to figure skate, including professionally. Figure skating is really developing very rapidly. What are the management's goals for you? I can't disclose the terms of the contract or specific goals. We've agreed to cooperate, and then we'll work on it and see how things go.